Galnet News Digest, 2nd of July 3305. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, revelations likely as Red family founder prepares to testify. Duval condemned for zoo animal slur. Fears of galactic meta-alloy shortage. More space junk at the heart of the galaxy. Revelations likely as Red family founder prepares to testify. A key member of the notorious Red family seems ready to testify against the cartel after handing herself in. Jan Sandoval, one of the founding members of the cartel, is reported to have handed herself in to the Federal Intelligence Agency without prior warning, leading to confusion about what her motivation might have been. FIA spokesperson Viola Trask confirmed that Sandoval is being held at FIA headquarters in Olympus Village, and that she's willing to testify against her former gang members, something that could not only bring other members of the Red family to justice, but could open a window onto corruption within the Federation and the Sol system in particular. The Red family has been implicated in the downfall of tech startup Herculean Machines after it was discovered that drug money was being used to fund development, and disgraced Congressman Morgan Unwin was discovered last year to have been running drugs for the cartel. Who else of the great and the good of the Sol system are quaking in their boots, wondering what Jan Sandoval knows about their dodgy deals and black market trading? Jan Sandoval comes from very close to the top of the Red family, which is headed by master criminal Oberon Church. Her testimony could be explosive. Duval condemned for zoo animal slur. People's Princess Aisling Duval has been condemned for likening imperial slaves to zoo animals after she hit out at anti-slavery group Autonomy. Autonomy released 4,000 imperial slaves in a well-meaning but misguided gesture last week, resulting in large numbers of homeless ex-slaves in and around Port Isabel in Eotienses. Unlike Duval's Unchain, which releases good old-fashioned ordinary slaves, Autonomy's attempt to release imperial slaves seems to have misunderstood the nature of indentured labour in the Empire, and the contract that imperial slaves take on to work off their debts. Released unwillingly from their contract, most of the 4,000 find themselves destitute, without any means of making a living. But the prismatic princess's choice of language has caused serious offence among those she hoped to assist. She is quoted as saying that you cannot simply set huge numbers of people loose as if they were zoo animals being released into the wild, and that imperial slaves needed to be cared for like pets. Comparing these hard-working imperial slaves to dumb beasts of burden is highly offensive to imperial slaves and to those who work to make their lives more tolerable. Parachuting a princess in to pontificate on the lives of the lowest stratum of imperial society, lives she knows nothing about, is the sort of well-meaning claptrap the liberal elite of the empire hands out, where in fact the person who most cares for the well-being of imperial slaves is the person who has most to lose if they are not healthy and able to work. Zemina Torval. Fears of galactic meta-alloy shortage. Aegis Research is expected to issue an appeal for exploration data that may lead to the discovery of more sources of meta-alloys, amid reports that stocks are running dangerously low. At the time of their discovery 3 years ago, meta-alloys were used to reverse Thargoid sensor damage to stations, although following structural improvements last year, this is no longer necessary. Meta-alloys are still believed to be useful. As their name suggests, they are a very strong alloy of metals, with mysterious healing properties. No one actually knows what meta-alloys are used for nowadays, but the demand appears to remain strong, and the Thargoid barnacle sites that used to be such a fertile source have been harvested dry. Aegis Corps, the combat division of Aegis, believes that a continuing supply of Thargoid-created meta-alloys is vital to the war effort, and is hopeful that many more barnacle sites can be found, harvested and desecrated in the fight to use Thargoid technology to eliminate the Thargoid threat from the galaxy. More space junk at the heart of the galaxy. The consequences of the recent Distant Worlds 2 expedition continue to be felt in the area around Sagittarius A star, with the deployment this week of 2 new man-made monstrosities in this hitherto undeveloped galactic wilderness. In addition to the Acellus starport Explorer's anchorage, Stumii FG-Y D7561 now has to put up with the Event Horizons Science Relay, which has been deployed around planet CD1. And the deep space science vessel Distant Worlds is starting a long, slow tour of points of interest near the galactic core. Limited by license to remain within 1500 light-years of Explorer's anchorage, and with a maximum jump range of 500 light-years, the Distant Worlds will jump once per fortnight on a 7-stop tour, taking in a dangerous binary star system, the Sagittarius A star supermassive black hole, a neutron star, the so-called storms of Fenris sulfur, the blink of an eye remnant, and the S-class giant carbon star Meryl's Legacy, before returning to Explorer's anchorage to begin the voyage again. So if slow, dignified, guided tour exploration is your thing, you might like to park up there and wake up every couple of weeks to peer out through the viewport. How exciting! And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.